Everyone's Outcast 01, and this is Command 1. So what is Command 1? Command 1 is a modular base that I came up with back on the PS3 version of this game that it basically fits inside of one chunk but is infinitely expandable to the limit of the building height as far as being able to add more floors to it, and each floor can easily be adapted to a specific task. Let's say you want to store a lot of stuff, but you don't necessarily have access to all the, fancier stuff, fancy mods, or even have a lot of iron to make a bunch of hopper sorting systems. Well, with the Command 1 layout, you can easily fit a very large number of chests inside the structure of the base. These are all just normal chests. There's no trap chests, which could expand the capacity of this one 3-high storage room quite a bit. As it stands, there's room for 15 chests on each wall. Times 4, that's about 60 chests in here. So that's a pretty good amount of storage space just for one player on a single player world. Or even if you have a faction based on a server, you want to protect it being able to fit within one chunk, which this does. It makes it pretty easy to make it so it's all protected within your claimed faction area. Now let's say you want to make the storage area a little more functional. You don't want it to be just storage. You can easily make this into a little workshop area. This is actually a recreation of what I have going on in my single player world. So I got my my workbench there. I've got my enchantment table back over here. I've got my my brewing station here with a infinite water source for filling up the water bottles. And yes, this does work for filling up water bottles. For those of you who have not tried it, it does work. And then over here, I've also got an anvil, so I can repair my tools and get things squared away and, add enchantments. Now this fitting inside of one chunk, you might think that, oh, I can't fit much in here as far as farming is concerned. That's not true. Now, as you can see here, I've got a pretty good amount of wheat going on here. I got carrots, I got pumpkins and melons going on. I got potatoes. I even have sugarcane and cocoa beans. Yeah, I got it all in here. For those of you who love your redstone gadgets, there's even room in here for some automated farming stuff going on too. Melon, anybody? One thing you may not have seen in the other section were mushrooms. That's because mushrooms always have to have their own special little setup to grow. They have to be the right amount of light, or you have to have mycelium. And there's also that weird mushroom looking thing from the nether called netherwort. Well, down here in another section, I have some tables set up with netherwort and both kinds of mushrooms. I got the brown ones over here, I got the red ones back over here. And just to make it look a little more fancy, I decorated the tables here with some trapdoors just so that they don't look quite so funky, so you don't see the edge of the dirt. Just to make it look a little pretty. Now you may think that there is no room here for animals, and as you can see, I got lots of animals in here. I got horses, I got pigs, I got sheep, I got chickens, I got mushrooms and cows. I got everything in here. I have a little better setup in another section I'll show you guys in a little bit here. Now you've probably noticed that every single center of these sections have this spiral staircase. So that's pretty much how you go up and down this whole area, but how do you get out of it? Well, there's a few different ways you can do it. There's your typical redstone, piston door. I got this one 3 high so I can get in and out with horses. There's the always popular, always open for you door where there's a half slab at the top and a half slab at the bottom. So you can go through it, but hostile mobs don't see it as an opening that they can fit through, so they don't come in and bother you. There is the corner door with a couple of iron doors with a pressure plate. There's push buttons outside for that. And there's your normal iron doors that just have push button activation to get you in and out. So there's ways in and out of it that still look good. So let's say you've got a whole lot of people that you want to set their spawn points for. You want to be able to have everyone sleep at one time so that you can advance through the night and get back to the day. Well, you can set up a whole room of nothing but beds. We got 15 beds on this one wall here, so just like the chest room, you can have 60 beds using this method. You want people to have the ability to, be able to store some of their more personal belongings. You feel like you want to be a little generous. You can replace those pillars of wood with chests, so everyone has their own personal chest to keep the stuff that they want to keep to themselves, that they don't want anyone else in the group to get. Or if you really don't care about people and you just want to cram as many bodies into one room as you possibly can, you can do that too. Here's a wall with 21 beds on it. You can fit 84 beds in this one room, just on the walls, not even sticking anything outside here. 84 people. So you can have some more luxurious accommodation, or you can stack people in like cordwood. It's up to you. Now let's say you want to have some nicer rooms for the higher ups in your group. Your lieutenants, your second in commands, your squad leaders, whatever you want to call them. You can easily set up some bigger rooms for them. And take a look in room 106 here. We got a bed, we got a double chest, a crafting table, a furnace, and got some room for some decorations to go on the wall there, and some other little things. Just a nice little, corner apartment with a decent view. Now let's say you're the leader of the faction. You want to have a pretty nice room just for yourself. Maybe one other person. Who knows? And, you can easily decorate the room. One floor into a nice luxury penthouse suite. I got a double bed there. Got the entertainment table here. Got a crafting table, double chest on both sides. Even got a record player back there. Got a nice fire pit going. Long hard day of killing zombies and other players in PvP. Sounds like you need a shower. You can even set up the roof of the penthouse suite with its own little, fenced off area, so you have like a nice little entertainment area to entertain yourself or your guests or whoever you might want to have up there with you. Maybe you want to give someone you're about to kick out of your faction a nice view before you throw them off the edge of the building. It's up to you. Now this version of Command 1 has a slightly larger bottom level. And it's actually centered on 4 chunks, so that there is a little bit more protection for faction use. There's more room down here for, giving each horse their own pen. Each pen also has a item frame with a saddle, just to make it easier for equipping these guys to get out and go. I got a little pen for piggies. Even got a one long pen for every single color of sheep. I have a little machine here for collecting eggs from the chickens. And there's a pen for the cows. All inside this one base. This even has a piston door. In this case I'm using cyan glass to make a nice decorative looking door in order to get in and out of the base, get in and out with the horses, and have enough room to get through and not smash my head into the ceiling. Now this version of Command 1 is built centered on 4 different chunks. Now each color represents one different chunk. Now, the advantages of doing it this way: one, you can more easily defend the base if you have factions on a server that you're playing online. This way you claim 4 pieces of, or, 4 chunks in the faction to protect the base in the center. You have, with the larger base, you have about 4 blocks away from the edge of those chunks. If you're doing the traditional method of not having the extended base out, then you're about 8 blocks away. So someone would have to build up a ramp pretty high above in order to make that 8-block jump in order to get into the base. Now, to actually build one of these sections and build up the base from the ground up, it's pretty simple. It's a square. I don't think it'd be very difficult for anyone to understand how to make a square. Same number of sides, same number of blocks per side. Now, the raised up blocks in the corners, that is where the actual chunk is. So yes, the exterior walls are actually in the neighboring chunks if you decide to build this base with the center inside of one chunk. Now, unfortunately, there's not a clean way of scaling this down and fitting all of the chests inside of that one chunk area. It just doesn't work for the math. You'd have, if you want to do it with double chests, it doesn't work. You'd have to have at least one row that was not double chests, and that would kind of negate the whole point of maximizing the storage capacity of the storage room. But if you end up centering this on 4 chunks, like I have shown with the demo base over there, then it works out pretty well, because you have about a 7 or 8 block gap between the edge of the chunk and the edge of the actual building. So someone would have to get a pretty good high ramp built up over the edge of the chunk in order to jump that distance to get into your base. And even if they were able to do it, they would take some damage from the fall to make that jump. So once you get that set up, you have the corners of each chunk built up. You then have on the neighboring side here, you have a wall that is 14 blocks long. You just repeat that 4 times and just build it as high as you want. Now for windows, I just used the panes of glass 2 high, left a nice 1 slab high block of a wall, just so that it gave a little bit of an appearance of there being something there. You can have it be all glass if you want, it's up to you. You don't have to do the corners with the glass. I did in this demo, but on half of these that I've built, I don't do this. It just, whatever resources you have available, it's up to you. And then at the center is the spiral staircase. This makes it very simple for going up and down through the base, getting up through the levels. You can make the staircase wider, you can put it off somewhere else if you don't want it in the center. It's up to you. This is just how I did mine. Now this is my actual base that I have in my single player world. This is the first time I've shown this to anyone. And, got the spiral staircase, oak stairs with the spruce wood planks down the middle. I don't have every floor filled out with that stuff. Got my workshop area. I have all of my chests all neatly organized with signs above them saying what's in each one. I got a clock. Since there's no windows in this room, I don't know what time it is when I'm in here working away. I got my crafting table there. I have my potion brewing area here. I have my enchantment table, which is at full power, by the way. There is the 16 bookcases that get this up to the full power and does very well with that. I've got my anvil. Now I'm running the Professor Flaxbeard's Wondrous Steam Power mod, and that's what this guy is. It's part of the Steam system, and I'm going to be expanding this in the near future here. Down below I've got my my whole Steam system here, my metallurgy area for crafting the various aspects of that mod. The heart and soul of the steam system, the steam boiler, my emergency blow-off system, which I've done a couple of tutorials on how to make one of these. I've got steam-powered furnaces here to automate ore refinement as well as some food. I've got my farm going on down here, cocoa beans and potatoes and carrots over there, and a lot of pumpkins, a lot of melons. The same automated melon miner. Oh, pumpkin's already grown back. More long tables of mycelium for mushrooms and soul sand for the nether wart. Now the mechanism for the melon miner is a little large, so I don't have as much room down here for mushrooms as I did in the other world, in the demonstration world, but still works out very nicely. And this does not really have an expanded base, but I still have about 6 horses down here, each with a very large pen. Even one guy, this horse is awesome. He's crazy fast, jumps super high, so I keep the diamond armor on him because he's worth it. He's an awesome horse. I got my iron golem, that's custom texture. I got my dogs. I got some pet supplies over here. Downstairs I have some automated sorting coming from the witch farm that's in the distance over there. And then adjoining this chunk I have another Command 1 style base across the pond here. And this takes me to my nether portal, which I've got upstairs in a neighboring facility. Which I've got quarantined off, again with another piston door. Now here I've got a skeleton spawner. About 8 blocks below the surface, right down there, there is a skeleton spawner. And this is just your simple water elevator and then drop for those guys. I got my sheep out here. I got my cows and pigs and chickens. I got some redstone lighting for when it turns dark out. Little tree farm going. And off in the distance there, that's my witch farm. Yep, I have a witch for a neighbor. This is default spawn right over there, and a witch's hut was literally about 120 blocks away. And this right here is where I'm going to be moving that base to over here. I want to get a little closer to this witch hut, or witch farm now, so that I can be in my base doing whatever I'm doing and still be close enough that the witches are spawning automatically over there, and just collecting all that good stuff that the witches drop. Right now I've got this very long railway system set up going deep underground, all the way around the edge there to the bottom of the base, and it collects everything and takes it over. But I want to be a little closer just to keep this thing going on its own. Yeah, right now I am on peaceful mode just so that I can make this video and not get interrupted and harassed by slimes and spiders, since this is a swamp, and that is also a slime chunk where the spawns, or the sponges. That's also a slime chunk where the slimes tend to spawn. So I have to constantly go in there and clean them out in order to keep the witches going, so that the mob cap doesn't get reached. I did a lot of caving down here, a whole lot of caving. And so yeah, that's Command 1. And Command 1 is going to be moving out to here and getting some upgrades. I'm going to be adding in a a flash boiler from the FSP mod, from the Flaxbeard's Wonder Steam Power mod. I'm also going to be doing some stuff with the Electrical Age mod, get some other goodies going on in here, and I will have a Twitch broadcast going on. Just look me up Outcast01 on there, and feel free to tune in, ask me any questions. Keep it friendly, keep it clean. This is a family-friendly environment. I don't want people asking me rude questions, trying to get me to say lewd comments in some other language. You know who you are. Oh, one more thing. You guys have a base you want me to showcase? You want to show off your base? You want me to have a tour of your place and do a video for you? Let me know, and we'll work something out for getting together and do that. This is Outcast01 signing